How do you create the government in your world? Where do you even start? Well, I'm here to help give you some direction when it comes to creating governments. Hi, my name is Vivian and welcome. The first thing I think about when it comes to government is the dynamic between the people of the world and the government. So for example, if I want the dynamic to be fear, what government type will be the best in executing this dynamic? When it came to my book, I thought about the words that came to mind were exclusion and secrecy. Only a few know what's really going on in the world, so that narrowed it down for me to oligarchy. The dynamic between the government and the people of the world doesn't have to be a negative one. It can be a positive one as well. What are the different governments? I am only going to give a brief description on each government type. If you want more details on a specific government type, you can look them up. But once you've figured out what government type you're using for your story, you can go ahead and create a hierarchy chart or appoint which character falls under which role in the government. Number one, democracy. Democracy is a form of government which allows the people to choose leadership. Number two, oligarchy. Oligarchies are a government in which a collection of individuals rules over a nation. A specific set of qualities, such as wealth, heredity, and race, are used to give a small group of people power. Number three, monarchy. Monarchy is a power system that appoints someone as head of state for life or until abdication. Authority traditionally passes down through a succession line related to one's bloodline and birth order within the ruling royal family. Number four, theocracy. Theocracy refers to a form of government where religious ideology determines the leadership, laws, and customs. Number five, totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is an authoritarian form of government in which the ruling party recognizes no limitations on its power. A single figurehead often holds power and maintains authority through widespread surveillance. There are more government types out there, but these are the most common ones. Earth-like governments and made-up governments. If your world is based on Earth or it's Earth-like, then you can use the governments that we are familiar with here on Earth. If you're creating a whole new world, then you're probably gonna create a whole new government. But even if you're creating a whole new government, they will still resemble the governments that we're all familiar with. For example, maybe a race has power in your world because they are fairies and are wealthy. This is a made-up government, but it resembles an oligarchy or an aristocracy. And if you remember, the definition of an oligarchy is where power is given to a select few people who have the same qualities. You can also combine different government types for your world. Take some from one, take some from the other, and combine it and make it into something different. Also, think about the races and the people in your world, including the people in government. What are their goals? Is it peace? Is it colonization? Is it power? What are their values and what do they believe is right and wrong? Then from that, you can create ways in which the world will be governed. How does the government type relate to your plot? When it comes to government and the way it's structured, think about how it affects your characters, their actions, and also how it will shape your plot. Think about your books and ask yourself, how much of the government will you need to put in your story? If your story is about a princess, then obviously the government type in your story is a monarchy. And you will have to weave in the details of the monarchy in your plot. Also, your character being a princess will also affect her actions, depending on what her personal goals are. Maybe the princess wants to be queen. Okay, then what are the succession rules in your world's monarchy? Whereas if your main character is a peasant, there will be some details of the monarchy in the story. But the ins and outs of the monarchy does not directly affect the character's story unless the character has ambitions of trying to get into court, trying to raise their social status. But once you determine how much the government type will directly affect your characters, their actions, and your plot, then you can decide how much details of the government is actually needed in your story. Because remember, your story isn't about the government. There will be information, details about the government that your readers will never know. Remember, it is not a history lesson. Your story is a piece of the overall world that you are creating. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Also, I do have free worksheets. The details will be in the description box. Go ahead and watch the next video here. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!